Each night, a widow lit a candle. A cowboy, passing by, wondered who she missed. The sun was low in the sky when Cole Maverick rode into the dusty valley. His horse moved slowly, kicking up light clouds of dirt as they followed the narrow trail. The land around him looked tired, dry grass, broken fences, and fields that had not been cared for in a long time. This was not the kind of place Cole usually visited anymore. He was a man of wealth now. People called him the millionaire cowboy, a man who owned more land than most could dream of, but he had not always been rich. Once, he had ridden through places just like this, fighting for survival. Those days were long behind him, or so he believed. Cole reached into his coat and pulled out a folded paper. It was old, slightly worn, but still clear enough to read. A name was written on it, Carter Ranch. Beneath it, a number, large enough to take everything from whoever owed it. "This is the place," he said quietly to himself. The debt had been left unpaid for years. The man who owed it, Samuel Carter, was gone now, dead before he could repay what he had borrowed. That left Cole with a simple choice: take the land or lose the money. Cole did not like losing. As he rode closer, he expected to find an empty house, or maybe a stubborn ranch hand waiting to argue. But what he saw made him slow down. A small wooden house stood ahead, worn but still standing. Smoke rose lightly from the chimney. Outside, near a broken fence, a young woman was working. She was trying to fix a loose board, using tools that looked old and weak. 5 children were nearby. Some sat on the ground, drawing shapes in the dirt. One of the older boys was trying to help, holding the fence steady. The youngest, no more than a toddler, stayed close to the woman's side. Cole frowned slightly. This was not what he expected. He guided his horse forward until the sound of hooves caught the woman's attention. She turned quickly, brushing dust from her hands. Her face showed both tiredness and strength. "Can I help you?" she asked, her voice calm but careful. Cole stopped a few steps away. He studied her for a moment before speaking. "Are you Mrs. Carter?" She nodded. "Yes, I'm Lena Carter." Cole took a slow breath. "I'm Cole Maverick." There was a short silence. The name meant something. Lena's eyes changed slightly, though she tried to hide it. "I see," she said softly. Cole unfolded the paper in his hand. "Your husband owed a debt. I've come to collect it." The children had gone quiet now. Even the smallest one seemed to sense that something serious was happening. Lena looked at the paper but did not step closer. "My husband is gone," she said. "You already know that." "I do," Cole replied. His voice stayed firm. "But the debt is still here, and so is the land." The wind moved gently through the dry grass. No one spoke for a few seconds. Finally, Lena straightened her shoulders. "I don't have that kind of money," she said. "Not now, maybe not ever." Cole had heard those words many times before. They usually came with anger or fear. But Lena's voice was different. It was honest, without begging. "I'm not asking for pity," she added. "Just time." Cole looked past her, at the house, the broken fence, the children. Everything told the same story. This family was barely holding on. But he did not let his thoughts show. "The agreement doesn't mention time," he said. "It mentions payment." One of the older children stepped closer to Lena, holding onto her arm. She placed a gentle hand on his shoulder without looking away from Cole. "How much time do we have?" she asked. Cole folded the paper again and slipped it back into his coat. "Not much," he said. "I'll need to look over the property first." Lena nodded slowly. She seemed to understand what that meant. "If you decide to take it," she began, then stopped. She looked down at the children for a moment before continuing. "We'll leave. We won't cause trouble." Cole felt something strange at her words. Most people would argue, fight, or try to make excuses, but she spoke like someone who had already prepared for the worst. "I'll be staying in town," Cole said after a moment. "I'll return tomorrow." Lena gave a small nod. "We'll be here." Cole turned his horse and began to ride away. But as he moved farther down the trail, he couldn't stop thinking about what he had seen. The weak fence, the tired house, the quiet strength in Lena's voice, and the 5 children who had said nothing at all. This was supposed to be simple, a debt to collect, a piece of land to claim. But for the first time in a long while, Cole Maverick felt unsure. As the sun dipped lower behind the hills, he glanced back once more at the small ranch in the distance. Something told him this job would not be as easy as he thought. The next morning, the sun rose slowly over the valley, casting a soft golden light across the dry land. Cole Maverick rode back toward the Carter Ranch, his thoughts heavier than the day before. He had spent the night in town, but rest had not come easily. He kept thinking about the children, about Lena's calm voice, about how nothing there looked like it could survive much longer. Still, he reminded himself why he came. Business was business. When he reached the ranch, he saw Lena Carter already working. She was carrying a bucket of water from a small well, her steps steady even though she looked tired. The children were awake too. Two of them were gathering sticks, another was trying to fix a broken chair, and the youngest sat near the door, watching everything quietly. Cole stepped down from his horse. "You start early," he said. Lena turned, slightly surprised but not afraid. "There's always work," she replied. "If I don't start early, it doesn't get done." Cole nodded and looked around. The place seemed even worse in the morning light. The barn roof was partly broken. The field was dry and uneven. A few animals stood nearby, thin but still alive. "This land won't last long like this," Cole said. "I know," Lena answered, "but it's what we have." Cole walked a few steps, checking the fence, the soil, the barn. He could see the truth clearly. This ranch was close to failing. But he also noticed something else. Everything that could be repaired had been tried. Everything that could be saved was still standing. Lena had not given up. "Your husband," Cole said after a moment. "Why did he take such a large loan?" Lena paused. She placed the bucket down before answering. "There was a drought," she said. "Not just here. The whole valley was suffering. Some families were losing everything." Cole listened quietly. "Samuel didn't want to watch people lose their homes," she continued. "He borrowed money to help them. Food, water, supplies. He believed things would get better, and we could repay it all." "And did they?" Cole asked. "For some, yes," Lena said. "But not for us." There was no anger in her voice, only truth. Cole crossed his arms, thinking. This was not the story he expected. Most debts came from greed or bad decisions. But this was different. "And after he passed?" Cole asked. Lena looked toward the house. "Everything fell on me," she said simply. "The land, the children, the debt." Cole followed her gaze. The children were still working, doing small tasks with quiet focus. No complaints, no noise, just effort. For a moment, Cole said nothing. Then he made a decision. "If I take this land now," he said slowly, "you and your children will have nowhere to go." Lena met his eyes. "That's true. And if I leave things as they are," he continued, "this place will still fail." Lena didn't argue. "That's also true." The air felt still, as if waiting for something to change. Cole took a deep breath. "Then we do something different." Lena frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" "I'm not collecting the debt today," Cole said. Lena's eyes widened just a little, but she stayed silent. "I'm giving you a chance," he went on. "Not for free, you'll work for it." She stepped closer now. "What kind of chance?" Cole looked around the land again. "This ranch still has value," he said. "The soil can recover, the fences can be fixed, the animals can grow stronger." "That takes time," Lena said. "Yes," Cole replied. "And effort. More than you can manage alone." Lena crossed her arms slightly. "I've managed so far." Cole gave a small nod. "You have, but it's not enough." There was no insult in his voice, just honesty. "So here's my offer," he said. "I stay here for a while. I help rebuild this land. We work together." Lena looked unsure. "And the debt?" "If the ranch improves," Cole said, "if it starts producing again, then I'll reconsider what's owed." "And if it doesn't?" she asked quietly. Cole's voice became firm again. "Then I take the land." The words hung in the air. It was a risk. For both of them. Lena looked at her children. The oldest boy watched her closely, as if waiting for her answer. "What choice do I have?" she said softly. "You have a chance," Cole replied. She thought for a moment longer. Then she nodded. "All right," she said. "We'll do it your way." Cole extended his hand. After a short pause, Lena shook it. The agreement was simple. No paper, no signatures, just trust and necessity. That day, the work began. Cole started with the fences, showing the older children how to repair them properly. Lena worked beside him, learning quickly, never slowing down. The younger ones carried tools, gathered wood, and did whatever they could. By evening, a small part of the ranch already looked better. It wasn't much, but it was a start. As the sun began to set, Cole stood back and looked at the land again. For the first time, it didn't feel like something he was about to take. It felt like something worth saving. And though he didn't say it out loud, Cole Maverick knew one thing for certain. This deal was no longer just about a debt. It was about something far more important. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the Carter Ranch began to change. It was not a fast change, and it was not easy. But little by little, life returned to the land. Each morning, Cole Maverick woke before the sun. He was no longer a visitor. He worked like the land belonged to him. He fixed fences, repaired the barn roof, and showed the children how to take care of the animals properly. Lena Carter worked just as hard. She never complained, even when her hands were tired or her back ached. She learned quickly, watching everything Cole did and repeating it with care. The children changed too. They smiled more. They laughed sometimes. The oldest boy, Noah, became stronger and more confident. He followed Cole everywhere, asking questions and learning how to work the land. For the first time in a long while, the ranch felt alive. But not everything was peaceful. One afternoon, as Cole was repairing a section of fence near the road, he saw a rider approaching in the distance. The man sat tall on his horse, dressed in clean clothes that did not match the rough land around him. Cole recognized him immediately. Victor Kane, a powerful landowner from a nearby town, and not a man known for kindness. Victor stopped his horse a few steps away, looking around the ranch with a small, sharp smile. "Well, well," Victor said. "I heard you came to collect a debt, Cole, but it looks like you've become a farmhand instead." Cole stood up slowly, brushing dust from his hands. "What do you want, Victor?" Victor's eyes moved toward the house, where Lena and the children were working. "I came to remind you of something," he said calmly. "That land doesn't just belong to your debt." Cole's expression hardened. "Speak clearly." Victor smiled slightly. "There's a clause in that old agreement. If the debt is not paid in full within a set time, the land can be claimed immediately." Cole narrowed his eyes. "I know the terms." "Do you?" Victor replied. "Because that time is almost over." The words hit harder than Cole expected. Victor leaned forward slightly. "If you don't take the land soon, someone else will, and I'm very interested in it." Cole's jaw tightened. "This is between me and the Carter family." Victor shrugged. "Not for long." With that, he turned his horse and rode away, leaving dust behind him. Cole stood there in silence. He knew Victor was not lying. Men like him always looked for weak land to take, and legally, Victor could try to claim it if Cole did not act first. That evening, the mood at the ranch felt different. Lena noticed it right away. "You're quiet," she said as they worked near the barn. Cole didn't answer at first. He was thinking. "There's something you're not telling me," Lena added. Cole finally looked at her. "The time for the debt, it's running out." Lena's hand stopped moving. "How much time?" "Not much," Cole said. She nodded slowly, as if she had expected this moment. "And what happens then?" she asked. Cole didn't answer right away. He looked toward the children, who were feeding the animals nearby. "If the debt is not settled," he said carefully, "the land can be taken." Lena lowered her eyes. "So everything we've done won't matter." Cole felt something tighten inside him. "It matters," he said, "just not in the way the law sees it." There was silence again. Then Lena spoke, her voice softer this time. "My husband always believed in doing what was right, even when it cost him everything." Cole looked at her. "What do you mean?" She took a slow breath. "Samuel helped people when they were in trouble. He didn't think about profit, he just saw people who needed help." Cole felt a strange weight in his chest. "There's something else," Lena added. She walked inside the house and returned with an old wooden box. From it, she took out a folded letter. "He wrote this before he died," she said. Cole took the letter and opened it carefully. The writing was old, but clear. As he read, his expression slowly changed. The letter spoke of the drought, the struggling families, and one name stood out clearly: Maverick Ranch, Cole's ranch. Samuel Carter had used part of the loan to help keep that ranch alive during the worst season. He had never asked for anything in return. Cole lowered the letter slowly. The truth was clear now. The man whose land he came to take had once saved his own. Lena watched him quietly. "He never told anyone," she said. "He didn't want thanks." Cole looked out at the land, the fences they had fixed, the children working hard. The debt he came to collect no longer felt the same. It wasn't just money anymore. It was something deeper, something tied to honor. That night, Cole stood outside under the dark sky thinking about everything he had learned. He had a choice to make. He could follow the law and take the land, or he could follow something else, something harder. As the wind moved softly across the fields, Cole Maverick knew one thing. The past had changed everything, and the decision ahead would decide not just the future of the ranch, but the kind of man he truly was. The night was quiet, but Cole Maverick did not sleep. He stood outside the Carter house, looking at the land under the pale moonlight, the fences they had fixed, the barn they had repaired, the small signs of life returning. It all felt different now. In his hand, he still held Samuel Carter's letter. He read it again and again. Each word carried weight. Samuel had helped others when no one else would. He had helped Cole's ranch survive a time when everything could have been lost, and he had done it without asking for thanks, without expecting anything in return. Cole closed his eyes for a moment. This isn't just a debt, he said quietly to himself. By morning, his decision was made. The sun rose bright and clear. The children were already outside, working as they had learned to do. Lena Carter stood near the well, pulling up water. She looked tired, but there was strength in her movements. Cole walked toward her, calm but serious. "We need to talk," he said. Lena nodded. She set the bucket down and wiped her hands. "I was expecting that," she replied. They stood facing each other, the quiet morning around them. "The time is up," Cole said. Lena did not look surprised. She simply took a slow breath. "I understand," she said. "We'll be ready to leave." Cole watched her carefully. There was no anger, no pleading, just acceptance. The children had gone quiet again, just like the first day he arrived. They stood close together, waiting. But this time, things were different. Cole reached into his coat and pulled out the folded debt paper, the same paper that had brought him here. Lena's eyes followed it. "This paper says the land belongs to me now," Cole said. She nodded once. "Yes." Cole looked at the paper for a long moment. Then, slowly, he tore it in half. The sound was clear in the quiet air. Lena's eyes widened. The children stared, confused. Cole tore it again, and again, until the paper was nothing more than small pieces in his hand. "The debt is finished," he said. For a moment, no one spoke. Lena looked at him, unsure if she had heard correctly. "What do you mean?" she asked softly. "It means," Cole said, "you owe nothing anymore." The words felt almost unreal. "But why?" Lena asked. Cole held out the letter. "Because your husband already paid it, a long time ago." Lena took the letter slowly. Her hands shook slightly as she looked at it. "He helped my ranch survive during the drought," Cole explained. "Without him, I might have lost everything." Lena lowered her eyes, reading the letter again. "He never told me," she said quietly. "He didn't tell anyone," Cole replied. "That's the kind of man he was." Silence filled the space again, but this time it felt lighter. The youngest child stepped closer to Lena, holding her hand. The older children looked at Cole with new expressions, not fear, but something softer. "So, we can stay?" Noah asked carefully. Cole looked at the boy and gave a small nod. "Yes," he said. "This is your home." The children didn't cheer loudly. Instead, they smiled. Small, quiet smiles that showed relief more than anything else. Lena took a deep breath, as if a heavy weight had finally lifted. "I don't know what to say," she said. "You don't have to say anything," Cole replied. "Just take care of the land. That's enough." But he wasn't finished. "There's something else," he added. Lena looked at him again. "This ranch still needs work," Cole said, "and you shouldn't have to do it alone." She frowned slightly. "What are you saying?" "I'm offering a partnership," Cole said. "Not as a collector, not as someone in charge, but as someone who wants to see this place succeed." Lena was quiet for a moment. She studied his face, trying to understand his meaning. "And why would you do that?" she asked. Cole glanced around the land, the fields, the fences, the children. "Because this place is worth saving," he said, "and so are the people in it." Lena felt something shift inside her. For so long, everything had been about survival, about getting through each day. Now, for the first time, there was something more, a future. She nodded slowly. "All right," she said, "we'll work together." Cole gave a small, rare smile. That day, the work continued, but it felt different. Not forced, not desperate, but hopeful. The land began to change faster now. The fields grew stronger. The animals became healthier. The house felt warmer. And Cole Maverick? He was no longer just a man passing through. He stayed. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. As the sun set that evening, Lena stood outside with her children, watching the sky turn orange and gold. Cole stood nearby, looking over the land they had saved together. He had come to collect a debt, but in the end, he had found something far more valuable. A second chance, a place to belong, and a family that had been strong all along. And for the first time in many years, Cole Maverick felt at peace.